Welcome back, everyone, to the Oakland Men's Basketball Notebook. My name is Neil Rule, the voice of the Golden Grizzlies. We're here with Coach Kampe, and Coach, certainly a lot for us to get to, lots of news coming out of the program. But, I mean, let's start right at the top, Camp. I mean, last night you and I sat there on the floor of the Chrysler Center. We recapped that overtime loss to Michigan. I know you were crushed. As you've had a chance to kind of digest it, where are you at right now with that game last night?
It doesn't feel any better, Neil. I mean, it's just going to be worse. It's one of those that will haunt you for the rest of your life. I mean, it's just, you have a chance to be a top 25 team, and it wasn't a lucky thing. It was a really good chance in a game that we didn't shoot the ball well. And, you know, we're a team that's based on shooting, and we haven't shot the ball yet. And I think there are reasons for that, but to do all the other things, to guard the way we guarded, to create the turnovers we created, to the rebounding and that with you know, a Power 5 team, a top 25 team. You know, we did all those things, and we're there. We just couldn't make shots. And boy, in the last 3-4 minutes of that game, we had some open shots, and we missed a big free throw too. You know, that free throw would have put us one up, you know, in under a minute, I think it was. And you can't be mad about missing a free throw because the kid was 12 or 13. And but it's just, we've had a lot of bad luck in the last couple of years on injuries and all that kind of stuff. And you know, when you get your opportunity, you gotta jump on it and take it. And we had the opportunity, and we just didn't finish. And you know, it hurts, and it will continue to hurt. Got to put it aside and get ready for Purdue, which players are doing, and that's a lot easier for them than it is for me, probably. But you know, we'll be ready for Purdue.
And Coach, certainly you look at that in that game last night, the 4th and 5 nights, as I said to you on the post-game radio interview last night. That's an NBA schedule that you guys have been playing. But I mean, Camp, look at the way things are from the time you walked off the floor to that loss against Xavier till last night. The way that these young players have developed in such a short amount of time, and there's 2 names that really jump off the page, or jump off, in your case, jump off the video at you. What Micah Parrish has done, certainly at the top of that zone defense. Trey Townsend, the rebounding element that they brought to the party, Coach. I mean, it has been incredible, the development in just 5 days.
Well, the defense completely changed when we made the move from Mike on the wing to the top. And it was kind of, I'd like to say it was a brilliant coaching move, but it really wasn't. We were getting blown out in one of the games, you know, and just the lineup with what we had out there, Micah just went and played the point on his own. And the next 3-4 minutes, you know, when we saw that on film, what he was doing out there, the fear of that when we're smaller is that you've got Rashad on a wing, and that's a rebounding position, and that, you know, Jalen or Rashad. And so that was a fear, and it's probably why we never really looked at it. But that changed everything defensively. How hard he plays, he's been on the floor, you know, he's been on the floor for loose balls through 4 games more than anybody on our team was last year for the whole season. And that just creates a defensive presence. Our kids are slapping the floor. They're into the defense. They're turning high major teams over. In the Bradley game, our last 2 games since we moved Micah to the point, in our Bradley and in Michigan, we have created 45 turnovers, and we have 43 turnovers, and we have 25 steals in 2 games against that level of competition. And they're starting to believe in it. And while we weren't able to practice, games can actually be better than practice as far as learning things, because you're playing at a level of player that's better than you're going to play at in practice. And so we're getting beat by something, we're learning from it. I honestly believe this, Neil, and maybe it's coach talk, maybe it's prejudice, whatever. Is, you know, I've had a lot of friends and people reach out to me about the game, and they all said it took Michigan so long to figure out to just throw it into that big guy. Well, the truth of the matter is they were trying to throw it into him the whole game, but we just wore out. In the last 6-7 minutes of that game, Trey Townsend just got tired of getting beat on by the 7-footer. He was beating him to the spot. He was keeping it out of there. Our wings would drop down and cover down and sprint through. I can show you on the film the same thing, but they sprint through it, got tips, got steals, got deflections. And at the end of the game, we were an inch late, a penny short, whatever you want to say. We were just, and I truly believe it's 4 games in 5 days. And I'm not going to apologize for that. It is what it is. We had to play the games. But I do believe that, that's the reason all of a sudden Michigan was able to get the ball inside. It wasn't that they tried anything different. It was the fact that we just couldn't get there.
And oh, by the way, that was the number 36 overall recruit in the country as well, 7'1", 255. I mean, he's not there by accident. The 4-star player, no question about that.
I was surprised at how well he shot free throws.
Yeah, he was a total package, no doubt. Coach, we are in West Lafayette right now, getting ready to play Purdue tomorrow, as you talked about. So, I mean, how do you do that? How do you manage that as a coach? The emotional. The emotional letdown of losing that game in overtime to Michigan, a 3:00 start time. I mean, basically you get 39 hours. You got to jump it up again. Oh, by the way, another Power 5 team. Oh, by the way, more top 100 recruits for Purdue, more 4-star recruits as well. But it has been incredible to see, especially your freshman camp. They don't care who's on the floor. They're gonna occupy passing lanes. They're gonna turn teams over.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the motivation for us is you're on national TV again. This will be our 5th time on national TV. And you've got to prove that the other night wasn't just Michigan didn't take us serious. And we've got to show that improvement is real and that we take it to the next game and to the next step. And so there's a lot of motivation to play. And you know what? We'll be home Wednesday. You're going to get Wednesday off. Then we'll get 2 days of practice before we play again. So, and then we get a week off. So, we're getting close to the end of the tunnel of this really, really difficult stretch to start the season. And we've got to push through it and make sure as coaches that we don't allow them to, it's almost over. No, we got to go play. We've got to compete.
Yeah, and Coach, speaking of this week, you mentioned it, Purdue on Tuesday, Oklahoma State on Saturday, probably the number 1 overall draft pick in next year's NBA draft, and Kate Cunningham as well. This schedule, we've talked about it a lot. Fans certainly have talked about it a lot, but this is the reality. I mean, let's be real. I talked about this with athletic director Steve Waterfield on some of the pregame shows on the GrizzBiz on the radio network. I mean, there is an economic component to this schedule as well. That's just the time and the space we're in right now.
Well, it's like I've said numerous times to numerous groups. The world right now, education, especially, I don't know if you call it secondary education or collegiate education or whatever. There are universities that are in catastrophic money problems. Not money problems, not bad money problems, catastrophic. And if you look across the world, you see universities closing. You see the small private colleges in real trouble. You see the big boys cutting sports. I believe Stanford cut 13 sports.
That's Stanford.
Yeah, that's Stanford. And you would think the richest, if you said to me, who's the richest school that's a non-Ivy League school, I would say Duke, Stanford, Northwestern. They cut 13 or 14 sports. Michigan State cut swimming. I mean, it's right here in our state. People are being furloughed. We play Oklahoma State Saturday. The guy that I set the contract up with was let go. They let their director of operations go. That's Power 5 schools that are cutting. And we got to make sure that doesn't happen at Oakland. And the way to do that, one of the ways to do it is to play the guarantee games, make sure you play them, and get your money. And so we're doing that. I mean, that's just the harsh reality of college athletics in a pandemic. And we're not going to let anybody get furloughed or any sports get cut. We're going to go and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen.
All right,
I
Coach,
would,
appreciate.
I would hate to see any of my colleagues let go,
Right.
and we could have played a game to save them. That's just not going to happen.
All right, Coach, as always, we certainly do appreciate the time. Purdue, 3 o'clock on the Big Ten Network, also on 106.7 HD2 on the radio side as well, on the iHeartRadio app. The Greg Kampe Show, Wednesday at 7 as well. We'll be doing that remotely, so make sure you tune into that also. For the Coach Greg Kampe, my name is Neil Rule. Thanks for watching, everybody. Well, see you later.